House Speaker Paul Ryan is now sounding very confident Republicans will get tax reform done, but he says the Democratic victory in Virginia's gubernatorial race gives Republicans even more incentive to get the bill passed on tax reform so they have something to run on in the 2018 midterms. Watch.
We keep our promises. We do what we said we would do. We're going to be just fine. We're in the middle of keeping one of the most important and prominent promises we have made, which is the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, which is cutting taxes, reforming the tax system to grow the economy, give people bigger paychecks, give people in the middle the relief that they need and they deserve. We keep this promise. We get this done. I think we're going to be just fine.
I'm joined now by Counselor to the President, Kellyanne Conway. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Always good to see you.
Welcome to D.C.
Thank you. I know. It's beautiful, sunny out today. I want to talk about where you just were, because you just got here from the Hill. You were meeting with Senate Chiefs of Staff. Why?
Well, we are taking all different kinds of inputs and ideas from across both chambers and frankly, even across both aisles. You know, Director Cohn had a meeting the other night with some Democratic senators. The president called into the meeting. We would like this to be bipartisan. That's really a question for Democrats, not Republicans, because Republicans are very unified in terms of the major principles for tax cuts. Make sure it affects the middle class first and foremost positively. They deserve a tax break. Secondly, reduce that corporate tax rate. Why is that important to the average individual? Because when our job creators, Harris, when our businesses pay less in taxes, they reinvest that money into their companies. They create new jobs. They save and secure the jobs that exist. They start paying more in benefits and different benefits. And they invest in inventory and the other accoutrements of a successful business. So the House and Senate bills look very different, but they still hew very closely to the major principles. And I think that's what reconciliation is for. So they'll come together and decide what survives.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say they look very different. You know, we've been watching the markup process on the House side, and now we anticipate to get to see what that final version is. But they knocked it off last night, saying that there were some financial issues, some revenue issues with that. So now there are major changes coming on the House side, and you heard House Speaker Paul Ryan just saying that they're going to get it done because they need something to run on in 2018.
Well,
what do you think about that?
My view is we need to get it done because people deserve to keep more of their hard-earned money. This is about fattening
Well, not
your
because
wallet.
of that, but he said that that was part of it.
So I don't look at it through a political lens. I look at it through a moral imperative lens. It's not just a campaign promise that Republicans, including President Trump and Vice President Pence, have made, Harris. It's what Americans expect and deserve. We have not had major tax cuts for the average American worker in decades, and that's just unfair to them. You know, the job holders in this country are saying, gosh, we have jobs and we have 2, 3 jobs in our household, but the job's not enough. I'm white knuckled at the end of each month paying the bills. Why is that? Well, it's because you're paying in regulations, you're paying in taxes, you're paying in energy costs, and this president is doing what he can to improve all of that on behalf of the working man and working woman.
Before I get off this tax issue, I just want to press in with this. You and I talked a few weeks ago, and you had a number of 4,000 as an average. Those numbers have come down some. And so are the numbers going to continue to go up or down, or what are we looking at as these plans come out?
Well, it depends. It depends what other kinds of deductions and credits you take. It depends what your income is. In other words,
I'm seeing more tax brackets maybe on the Senate side. The president says the Democrats are going to like the Senate's bill more than they like the House bill.
The Senate does tend to have more brackets, but that doesn't affect simplification necessarily. Simplification is affected by how many deductions and credits and exemptions and everything. And a lot of Americans have told pollsters, right, left, and center, Harris, that they don't like all these special interest SOPs. They don't like the loopholes that the lobbyists get. We know that the current tax code already favors the wealthy and the well-connected. They hire attorneys and accountants to help them with the code. They hire lobbyists to help them change the code. So to make it more transparent, to go from the 7,000 or so pages to 400, and for people to file it through an app.
Yeah,
or
you and I were talking about that in the commercial break.
Old timers, a postcard, I guess. But remember that it also, the child care tax credit is there. There's an elder dependent, an adult dependent tax credit in both versions. That's really exciting. That's new for folks who are helping elders with their care, or even in some cases have a college-age student that's still dependent on them. All of that's being negotiated. But that's a reconciliation for us. And America should be happy that the process is picking up pace, but is transparent. They can watch as it's happening day by day.
I know you and I are talking about that $260 billion a year that Americans spend on tax
$6
preparation.
billion in hours.
They want that app to shorten that process if it happens. Let's talk about the president right now on his Asia trip and his speech last night. from Beijing, 120 miles away from the center, from the capital of North Korea, with direct language to the North Korean leader. The next big question is, and I'm sure you're getting it a lot today, does he meet directly with Vladimir Putin of Russia?
I'll leave that to the president, but I will tell you this, that this president, through this trip, has done a number of things. He wants a very strong relationship with the countries that he's already started to have a relationship with, including China, including Japan. But this is also to show everyone that North Korea is not North America or the United States problem. It's a nuclear North Korea is everybody's business. And he's bringing together the international community to put pressure on North Korea and on them to help. That includes Russia, that includes China, obviously, that includes Japan. But this president is also, 2 weeks ago, he had an amazing drug demand opioid crisis event in the White House, and First Lady Melania Trump spoke. He spoke. They gave a very specific policy speech, but he also talked about reducing fentanyl. That comes in. It's synthetically made in China. Most of it comes in from China. So we also are talking to them about helping with issues.
Was that part of the conversation of this?
Yes,
trip?
In fact, Rex Tillerson, our Secretary of State, in his press briefing, addressed this issue as well.
Yeah, you talk about some of the other things that might have been on the table, but certainly with China, we probably can't do much about North Korea without them. I mean, even if Russia comes on board, China is really the key. And so you saw a difference in tone with this president. He was first kind of tough on China, and then he was not. I mean, he's in China, so that changes.
But the thread that's always common, Harris, is he's pro-America. It's America first. So he tells other nations, we understand you're a sovereign nation, but you have to understand we're a sovereign nation with borders too, and that I, as president, am going to put America and America's workers, America's interest first. And that's why he's also talking to everybody from China all across about imbalanced trade deals, that these trade deals have to favor America and stop, as he says, screwing America and favoring the other country. By the way, we, for the first time in 14 years...
He did say that.
Yes, that's very Trumpian. Yeah. And America responded positively. Harris, for the first time in 14 years or so, China is taking American beef and dairy. I talked to the senators and the members of Congress and their constituents in the beef producing and the dairy producing states. They're thrilled.
So that gives you the leverage then to come back and say that we're doing some things on this. I only have a couple seconds left, but I have to ask about this because this is a big development with Obamacare and where we are, and if the president still thinks he can move the ball on that. You have more and more people historically now breaking a record, signing up, enrolling for Obamacare this week. Quick word from you.
But you also have over 25 million who don't have health insurance. We were told everyone was going to have it. We were lied that you can keep your plan, keep your doctor. Look at all the billions they wasted.
Why do you think people are signing up, though?
Oh, because they're being scared into thinking that it won't be there for them, that they won't be covered. Scare tactics work, but also some people, it is the only way for them to get health care right now.
Will the White House go in again after the first of the year? Are you still going to try to get it done?
The president is very committed to that. We hope the House and Senate follow suit. This president has pen in hand, just like you right now, Harris. You look
I'm
like
taking
President
notes.
Trump. You're ready, but it has to be a true repeal and replace of Obamacare. The Senate bill that didn't even get a vote, and we couldn't get any Democrats, that had a lot of free market stuff. The governors liked the block granting of Medicaid money.
Kellyanne Conway walked over from the Hill so we could talk in person. We'll talk soon again.
It's a pleasure.
Stay close. Thank you.